Ray Reardon dominated the world of snooker. He won the World Championship 6 times.
Raymond Reardon MBE, born 8 October 1932, is a retired Welsh professional snooker player. He turned professional in 1967 and dominated the sport in the 1970s, winning the World Snooker Championship 6 times and more than a dozen other tournaments. Reardon was world champion in 1970, 1973, 1974, 1975, 1976, and 1978, and runner-up in 1982. He won the inaugural Pot Black tournament in 1969, the 1976 Masters, and the 1982 Professional Players Tournament. Reardon was the first player to be ranked world number 1 when world rankings were introduced during the 1976-77 season, a position that he held for the next 5 years. Reardon mentored O'Sullivan in preparation for his 2004 World Championship campaign, helping him lift his second world title. Before turning professional in 1978, Steve Davis was inspired to emulate certain aspects of Reardon's playing style that he felt would improve his own game. Reardon's dark widow's peak and prominent eye teeth earned him the nickname Dracula. He is the president of Churston Golf Club in Devon, where he has been a member for over 40 years. Reardon was appointed a member of the Order of the British Empire in 1985. Early life. Reardon was born on 8 October 1932 in the coal mining community of Tredegar in Monmouthshire, Wales. When 8 years old, he was introduced to a version of snooker by his uncle, and at 10 he was practicing cue sports twice weekly at Tredegar Workmen's Institute, as well as on a scaled-down billiard table at home. He primarily played English billiards rather than snooker, which, according to authors Luke Williams and Paul Gadsby, helped improve his control of the cue ball and his potting. At the age of 14, following in the footsteps of his father, Reardon turned down a place at a grammar school to become a miner at Trist Colliery. In March 1959, Reardon married Sue, a pottery painter, after a rockfall in which he was buried for 3 hours in 1960 when his family moved to Stoke-on-Trent in Staffordshire, England. Amateur snooker career. In 1949, Reardon won the News of the World Amateur title and was awarded an Ash cue stick, presented to him by 15-time World Snooker Champion Joe Davis. Reardon used this cue for almost 30 years until it came apart shortly after the 1978 World Championship final. He reached the final of the 1949-50 Under-19 Junior Championship. Reardon first won the Welsh Amateur Championship in 1950, and he retained the title every year until 1955. He reached the final of the 1956 English Amateur Championship. After losing in the first round of the 1957 English Amateur Championship, Reardon decided to take some time out from competitive snooker to work on improving his game. He next entered the championship in 1964, when he won the title by defeating John Spencer 11-8 in the final. This victory led to an invitation to tour South Africa with Jonathan Barron, which proved so successful that Reardon was offered the opportunity to return and tour again as a professional. Based on this offer, he resigned from the police force and turned professional in 1967. Professional career. 6 times World Snooker Champion. Reardon's first appearance at the World Snooker Championship was in 1969 in a quarter-final against Fred Davis in Stoke-on-Trent. The match featured lengthy tactical exchanges between the players, resulting in some of the longest sessions ever recorded in World Championship play. Neither player was ahead by more than 2 frames until Reardon won the 27th frame to lead 15-12, after which Davis won 6 frames in a row. The best of 49 frames match went to a deciding frame, which Davis won. In July 1969, the BBC began broadcasting Pot Black, a competition of one-frame matches which became popular with viewers. Reardon won the first series by defeating Spencer 88-29 in the one-frame final. In London in April 1970, Reardon won the World Championship for the first time, defeating Davis in the quarterfinals, Spencer in the semi-finals, and John Pollman 37-33 in the final, having led 27-14 before Pollman reduced the lead to 1 frame at 34-33. At the next World Championship, played in Australia in November 1970, Reardon won all 4 of his round-robin group matches, and qualified for a place in the semi-finals, where Spencer established a winning margin against him at 25-7 and finished the match 34-15 ahead after dead frames. Reardon won the October 1971 edition of the Park Drive 2000, defeating Spencer 4-3 in the final after placing second in the round-robin stage, behind Spencer, who had placed first. In the spring 1972 edition, this remained the highest official break of Reardon's career, as he never achieved a maximum break of 147 in tournament play. At the 1972 World Championship, Reardon lost his first match 22-25 to Rex Williams in the quarter-finals. He reached the final of the 1973 World Championship in Manchester, and Spencer 23-22. He lost the first 7 frames of the final to Eddie Charlton, but took 17 of the next 23 to hold a 4-frame advantage at 17-13, and then moved further ahead into a 27-25 lead. At this point in the match, he complained to the organizers about the television lighting reflecting on the object balls. When his complaint was not resolved by the organizers, he approached the tournament sponsors and threatened to withdraw from the competition. Reardon was ahead 31-29 going into the last day, and won 38-32 to claim his second world title. Reardon defended his World Championship title in 1974, defeating Davis 15-3 before beating Graham Miles 22-12 in the final. In a post-match interview, Reardon suggested that he had not played any better than mediocre in the final, but that Miles had not created any pressure for him, adding, "I don't feel the elation that I felt at winning last year." He also won the 1974 Pontins Professional, leading 9-4 in the final and winning it 10-9 after Spencer took 5 consecutive frames to force a decider. In 1975, Reardon reached the final of the inaugural Masters by winning 5-4 on the pink ball against Williams in the semi-final, but lost the final 8-9 to Spencer on a respotted black. At the 1975 World Championship in Australia, he won a tough quarter-final against Spencer, and then eliminated Alex Higgins 19-14 in the semi-finals to meet Charlton in the final. Reardon was leading 16-8, but Charlton won the following 9 frames. Charlton took the 60th frame to tie the match, but Reardon won the vital 61st frame to secure the world title for the 3rd successive year. Reardon won the Masters in January 1976. Beating Miles 7-3 in the final. He had earned his place in the final by defeating Pullman 4-1 in the quarter-finals, in a match where the highest break, compiled by Pullman, and then Charlton 5-4 in the semi-finals. In 1976, Reardon won his 5th world title, defeating John Dunning 15-7. Reardon reached the final of the 1977 Masters, beating Williams 4-1 in the quarter-finals, and Miles 5-2 in the semi-finals, but lost the final 6-7 to Doug Mountjoy. He was also runner-up at the 1977 Benson and Hedges Ireland tournament, losing 2-5 to Higgins. Reardon's successful run at the World Championship ended in 1977 at the Crucible Theatre in Sheffield, when he lost to Spencer in the quarter-finals 6-13. It was his first defeat at the World Championship since his quarter-final loss to Williams in 1972. Reardon regained the world title in 1978 in Sheffield. He defeated Bill Werbeniuk 13-6, Charlton 18-14, and Mans 25-18 in the final to lift the trophy for the 6th and final time. Aged 45 years and 203 days, Reardon was the oldest winner of the World Snooker Championship, a record that lasted until 2022 when Ronnie O'Sullivan won the title aged 46 years and 148 days. Soon after establishing this record, Reardon regained the Pontins Professional title, taking it for the 4th time in 5 years, defeating Spencer 7-2 in the final. Reardon was appointed a member of the Order of the British Empire, MBE, in the 1985 birthday honours for services to snooker. He resides in Devon and is the president of the golf club in Churston, a position that he has held since at least 2004, having been a member since the 1970s. He made a playing appearance at a Snooker Legends evening in Plymouth in July 2010. The Welsh Open Trophy was renamed the Ray Reardon Trophy in his honour,